Okay, so you're with Lewis now, and you still don't have a baby. You've been married. You've been shacking up with some ladies.
Yeah.
At some point... Oh,
Yeah,
wait
yeah.
a second. Wait a second.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
gonna miss something big.
No, I'm going through... Wait. Then you were a liquor store clerk.
I was liquor
For
store
6
before
months.
after doing background for a while.
Did you
This
get your
how-
SAG card from doing
No,
background?
I did background a while. For 7 months. That's a while for me for working a job straight.
Yeah, it's a while for doing background.
Yeah,
right,
I did background
so-
for like 6 weeks and got hooked up on CSI for my SAG card. I was like, I'm good now.
I did background for 48 hours on a Spike Lee movie, and I was done.
Done.
Right. I met a dude. Drake hung out with him that my homie that Lewis knew, and he was quitting his job to move on to something else. And that job was the liquor store clerk. He was like, I can get you this job if you want it. I was like, hell yeah. And it was right on the beach. It's a block away from the beach, the ocean. I was like,
But
yes.
you were living in the Deep Valley.
No, at this time, no. Lewis lived in Palm, so he took me up.
Okay.
He grabbed me up from the valley that day. Like we went straight to my place and got all my shit.
Got it.
And I was like, and there was a radio there that I knew it wasn't mine, but it also wasn't the ladies there. I was like, no, take this. Like, you should take that. I was like, I don't want to start this like this. I ain't gonna take that radio. But it was a nice.
It's not a backpack full of weed or anything.
Right. So yeah, he takes me in, and so he's driving back and forth doing the thing and all that good stuff. It gets around after the holidays. We meet he introduced me to buddies of his, and he works at the Pagliari's liquor store, and he's like, yo, you can have this job. I'm quitting, and had the job just like that. Trained me.
That's amazing.
And now I'm working on the block in this fancy little neighborhood in Santa Monica on Main Street. All this new stuff coming at me, and everybody knows me. Everybody's coming in from all the restaurants and stuff like that. I got my vouchers because this black cat came in here. I can't get a hold of him now, so rest in peace if he's gone. But he came in. He's like, man, what you up to? What you about? He's like, I was like, yeah, I'm an actor. I come from Second City in Chicago, this and that, trying to do the comedy. He's like, you got your SAG card? I was like, nah. He's like, oh man, you need to get that. You want? I can help you out with that. He's a first AD on TV shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, I can hook you up with that. So I called him and like he hooked me up with like 2 vouchers, and then the third one I got wasted, missed out on that one. Then he called me back for a different one. I think I was celebrating. I was like, hey, I'm about to do it. I got my vouchers because when you're doing extra work, I saw those kids so much asking these cats. You got an extra voucher? You got an extra voucher? You got an extra voucher? I was like, oh my God, that's so bad.
It's so bad.
I can't.
As low status as you could possibly get, and if you don't do it, like, what's the point of even being there?
Exactly.
I went through central casting, but I went through an agent, and so they called, and they booked me on an episode of like 2 weeks long. It's like an epic thing, and I got bumped.
Yeah.
But I think I got 1 voucher that way, and then I quit, and then I started dating this guy who, here's the kicker, he is a craft service guy, and he'd been for like years, and he was like, oh, I can get you vouchers. And so, he had a hookup with the first AD there too, and so he got me on. Yeah,
I can get you vouchers and Primavera.
I'm gonna get you that real paper, girl.
Yeah. And then when he asked me to marry him, I said no, and I got 5 head to toe, and I was like, no, no.
Oh my God.
But thank you for the vouchers.
Like, no, but I'm gonna grab a couple more of these fish tacos to go. These were really good today.
You can buy my groceries anytime.
I got to move us forward because
for sure.
After working at the library ale house, I don't know how this happened, but you had a very near miss to be on television, to be a cast member on what was at the time one of my favorite shows.
Really?
Oh, I love those first 3 seasons. Hell
Really?
yes.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons but it lost me because, started, and I was like, this is
that
where
came
it's
way later.
at.
That came later.
Way later.
Listen, do you remember the guy that won the first season of? He was naked, and everybody
Richard Hatch.
who's dead now. May he rest in peace. But he got naked, and people threw a fit, and I was like, "But why are you throwing a fit? You're on a beach. You smell like he's like whatever." And then he spun off from that. He cracked the nuts, and that is the jam.
Yep. Is it? Yeah. No. I was like I am that cat. Like I was at Library House. When it's packed, I had to do so much. Like I would have 2 beers pouring on the wall here, got the glasses there, waiting for this to go, boom, 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 bam. I'm like, I'm moving.
That was me at Starbucks, and I still wasn't fast enough. They were like, you know what? When you were dealing with drunk people, you can like screw up, and they love it, and they'll tip you. Right? You screw up at Starbucks with 4 or 5 drinks going at once, and they just scream at you and fire you. I should have worked a bar.
Right. No, I'd never worked. Wait, did I? Yes, Chocolate by the Ball guy. He is a coffee guy.
Yeah.
I did that, and like these 2 women walked up to me in the middle of
no, he married one of them.
No, they were going too fast. They left too quick. I knew that they had already cast somebody like a year or 2 ago, the first season or the second season, whichever one it was. From Circle Bar from across the street, a woman from there was there. And so they mentioned that. They were like, hey, you're great. We'd love to cast you on us. We're the producers. I was like, oh, okay. I was
what does it pay?
Right now, I ain't doing anything. I'm still busy. And I'm like pouring and what I was like, oh, no, I'm an actor, comedian. I was that young kid that didn't know to just use everything, brother. I was like, no, I don't want to go that. I'm not into reality. I'm an actor. I was pretty much that kid. I'm not. But then that's when they reiterated. But you could be on the show with the producers. And I was like, no, I'm cool. You get a little aggressive too. I said no, thank you. And then they bounced out. And then I told that to one of the waitresses, Sarah. I remember it was Sarah Hudson, and she let me know. She was like, "You're not even gonna take their card?" And I was like, "Oh, I should have done that, huh?" And then, so I looked back, gone. Yeah, they had left.
Listen,
I was like,
if they had offered you like Road Rules or Real World, fine. Then maybe you would think about it because that's a free place to stay. They're just filming your life. You're going on auditions.
For that.
They wanted you to go starve yourself with a bag of rice and a bunch of assholes and play games on.
Right? Nah.
That's a game show. That's not reality. That's a game show.
My ancestors did that a long time ago.
No.
I'm good. We take the real game, that real reality.
Okay.
I'm with you. I would have said, pass. Thank you.
I don't think they were starving.
I auditioned for Real World too.
Yeah, they are. They lose a lot of weight, but they're starving.
Yeah.
They are starving. What are you talking about?
I mean, they're eating grains.
They get rice. They get a giant bag of rice.
Okay. Well, they can win $1 million.
You know what? One person.
I didn't want to start my way into the light. I'm good.
No, you're good. You made the right choice.
I'm just saying they go into ketosis on day 2, and then it's
you wanted to smell some stinky breath.
You're right.
I
would have got it.
Keto
breath. Okay, but wait a second. When did you leave LA and go back to New York for a while?
Well, it was the first time. That was after, like, I quit the bar because the cat just, we didn't see eye to eye.
And then you started cleaning. You got an apartment cleaning job.
I had to hustle. I
did that too.
I was. It was my own stuff. I would call up people on Craigslist or whatever, and like I was my own guy, and I just show up to their places and do the cleaning and all that good stuff. So I get quick money that way, and it was cash and all that good stuff. I
And
stopped
you
it.
had training in the Army, bathroom services.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we won awards.
You were tying it all in.
I cleaned the latrine. That was my job.
Yeah, I think Willie and I might go into like selling a reality show together about jobs and hustling. We're gonna talk after the show because I've got some ideas here. But let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah, so
we will never end this show. If I mean his job resume is literally a book.
I keep telling people I'm gonna write my 40-year memoir, and it's gonna be a comedy vignette of my life and stuff like that, for sure.
But do the Mel Brooks thing. Call it part 1.
Yeah. That's stuff. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's a good idea.
You don't even have a kid at this point. You're mannying and you're.
I don't have a kid. I'm doing that.
Okay.
I started class. I started acting classes.
Okay, good.
And so I needed to pay. I had to get around and pay for that. And I just quit my job out of nowhere after so many years. I'm like, what?
To become a male escort.
Yes. Well, that was brief thought. I thought I'd try it, and Craigslist. There was that section. I was like, okay, maybe let me. So I had to give myself a little bio. I gave myself how I would tell my clients that how I could clean. I clean with it was like military speak. I put my elbow in there, something like that. Elbow grease or whatever, something like that.
Wait, which Craigslist ad is this?
I don't know. It said the naughty area down in the corner on the right hand side, down way below. That's it.
That's where you're selling your cleaning services?
No. That's where I found services.
That's where he found he could be a male escort.
Down below that, if you scroll even further, I believe that's where you can find out, like, you can become an escort.
But really quick, I know you erased that pretty quick. Is that because you were getting male phone calls instead of female phone calls? Like, what's happening?
No, I didn't get a phone call. I got nervous that somebody might kill me or something. And I just saw myself on one of those shows, one of those calls. They just lost calls. Like, what? He went there for a dream.
Yeah, another 48 hours. He loved hard. He broke up harder. He went there to clean the latrine.
That was before. And that was
on a very special dateline.
It was the cleaning that, like, I did that well. That's what ended up I did. Because I did that. But I also tried to to get money. I had this roommate. I was like, I don't got no job, so I ain't got no money coming in. I had to pay this rent, so I put up my room, half my room, for rent.
So wait. Okay, I'm going to talk about that for a second. Half a step back. We know a dude in Venice, Bieber, remember this? When we were dating, one of Jason's Venice crew didn't have any money, and it always looked like he was tweaking for some reason, maybe because he was, I don't know. But he ended up becoming a male escort, and nobody ever saw him again, to a very old rich man. Mm-hmm. And he was dating girls, so we were very shocked when he became a male escort, because male escorts usually are for older men. And
I did not know that.
Yes, because women, especially women in LA, we're not paying for it. You're just a friend with benefits. But we never saw from him or heard from him. All of a sudden, he like disappeared. He went to stay at the man's house in Malibu for a while, and then nobody communicated. Like nobody could get a hold of him ever again. And this was like 12 years ago now. That's
why I made the great decision for delete.
I think you did. I think you made the right pivot at the right time.
I think you did too. I'm just like worried for you.
That's the other part. That's what it would have been like. Oh, if I would have done it, it was like knock at the door, like, oh, what did I do? I wouldn't know. The whole man.
I'm here to educate. I'm here to educate you. And also, this next story is going to be amazing though, because you rented out your room.
Yeah.
And ended up in someone's car.
Well, that was after I had to leave there, or after the next place. But yes, I bounced around. I rented the room in my room, and then I remember telling the day, I was like, hey, boss, I got somebody moving in my room to help me pay rent. It's a girl, you know what I'm saying? She ain't into the dude, so don't worry about it. And he was like, what? I was like, I got somebody helping me. I was like, he's like, no, damn. And it was like one of those, like, not again. You keep going.
Again.
But I was that girl. I ended up moving into a friend's room and sleeping on her chair, her oversized chair, for about 6 weeks because of the same thing. Like, I was supposed to start a job at Starbucks, but it got pushed back, and I had just left the drug dealer, and, like, I had no place to go, and I was like, all my stuff is in my car. And so she's like, but I found out, like, they were used to that at this house because it was in Tahunga or Sunland, Tahunga. And they were like, we take in a lot of homeless people. Come on. And I was like,
I've done that. But he was just, it was his place. And he's like, nah, this is not what I signed up for.
Were you like, but I'm just being creative?
In my head, exactly. And in my head, I was like, man, shoot, you know how many beers I gave you over the years, bro?
Yes.
So I was on that page and all that good stuff. But yeah, I no matter what, I hustled any way I could, especially because I did not like working for folks if it wasn't creative. And when I do work, if I'm not digging it, weight stuff, I'm not going to be there that long unless I really like it. I did. I ended up in the. I had to just say, you got to figure it out. And if you got to sleep in this car, you're gonna figure it out, and that's probably gonna help you figure it out. So I use that. Hard times in my life helped me push forward. And so staying in that car for a couple of days was very. I remember when I could hear people walking up, and I'm thinking and looking in. I'm like, oh God, they're gonna see me, or a cop's gonna come up or whatever.
100%. Yeah.
So but then I asked my aunt. She brought me up north for about a month to help to paint one of her houses that she was selling, and so I painted that whole thing. Got some money, came back down, got a job as a bouncer at a club. Got a little box apartment up the street from that club, Center Space on Cahuenga.
Dope spot.
Oh man, it was dope. Yeah, it had two burners on as a stove. I had a nice big fridge. I washed all my dishes in my kitchen and my bathroom sink. It was amazing. My mother brought me these this DVD player, this TV, and the blow-up mattress. It was amazing. Good times. I had roaches. They were friends. Bombed a lot. I bombed a lot. Then I was for about a year. 1 year I was a bouncer at Center Space. Dim Mac, Stevie Aoki was one of the main DJs there and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Almost got killed by Suge Knight trying to get into the club, and I wouldn't let him in.
You wouldn't let Suge Knight in?
Did not let that big. I couldn't let him in. It was all we were already at capacity. So he's got his body up against my body, and I got my hands clasped on these both ends of the door. And I'm like, nah, man. And like, I'm calling. I'm like, security front door. And he's like, oh, you gonna call security? Now he got 5 big ass dudes behind. I'm like, yes, I'm calling security, bro. I can't take on all y'all. And so they all come down and help me out. And so I was. And after that night, I remember thinking, I was like, he could have had a bad night, and I could have been gone that night.
Oh, you could have been
gone. Were you keeping up with your martial arts
at
this point? Like, were you still?
Oh, well, no matter what, martial arts is never going to leave because I was a fighter. So I wouldn't tournaments until I was 17. So no, it's always there. That's why they had me at the door. This is the
dude who hung Vanilla Ice upside down outside off a balcony.
Exactly.
I thought that was an urban myth.
No.
He wants it to be.
They did that.
He ran a dude over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. But but also, there's karate was first, then military was second. So I'm sitting at this door, and no matter what, I can't let him in. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my job.
Did you even know who he was by sight? Did you know who? I wouldn't even have known who he was.
No, well, he come from my side of town, so I knew exactly who he was.
Yeah.
Goddamn, you know?
And he's one of the. I mean, he's like 7 feet tall.
Oh, is he?
He's a tall dude. Yeah. He a giant. And it's.
I mean, I know him from the media, but I don't know if I'd know him
in.
in person. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know him from media.
You're
Right.
fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
He did not get in. I did my job. Once everybody else came down to help me. Yeah.
You
It was
fucking bounced Suge Knight.
Yeah, I did.
I'm so proud of you right now.
I can claim that shit.
I'm so proud of you.
But yeah, but also at the same time, I was doing way too much. I was partying too much, having too much fun. Again,
is that why you never had any money?
Yeah. No, I never bought. No, that's not me.
Why
That's
buy
why
it
you
when
thought
God
you could be
hands
a
you
male
backpacks?
escort.
No, I ain't buy that shit. So no, there's people around me and stuff, and like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do what y'all do. I still had that kid mentality that started college at 16, so I'm gonna do what everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? So, that's my boss, so I'm gonna do what my boss doing. And so I was like, it's time. I ran away from LA. That's how I did it. I ran away from LA to get that fresh start, and saved some money with a friend that those last 3 months, and then I got to New York. And New York was amazing. I loved it. I loved working there. I loved having to move there, as in like get on the street. If you don't move, you're gonna get trampled on. You know what I'm saying? I loved my teachers there. It was amazing. It was the only reason why I had to leave is because family. We were the ones butting heads. But other than that, it was crazy. And then I get back to Chicago after he kicks me out. My cousin kicks me out the apartment after I did a lot. I don't even want to talk about that.
Oh, there's something you don't want to talk about?
Oh man!
No, we won't. Especially if you're on good terms now. We don't want to
we are not.
Although now we're back in New York and we've kind of come full circle because we started out with you working at Max Brenner's and and selling off that bag of weed.
So got rid of that bag of weed, so I had a little bit more change to make it through. I was going through UCB and I was loving it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I was excuse me. And I was moving forward, and this is where I wanted to be. I was still having a little bit too much fun, because I'm 26 at the time now, 27, and so that happened, and I have to. So that's 8 months out. I got there, and 8 months later, I leave.
Wait, hang on. Just because you said your age, I just got to frame everything. We started at 16 at Columbia College. That's where this interview basically started, and now we have done this. All of this is 10 years.
Yeah.
All of that happened in 10 years, and now you're 26, 27. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
So loving that. Have to leave. So. A couple of people wanted me to stay at their place. I didn't want to, I saw they rise. I didn't want to, be that person. And so I went back home. I went back home to my family and stuff. They live with my parents, got a job. Where I met my mom's, or my son's mom.
But you had to give it up because Chicago is still a place that has theater and commercials and shows being produced. And I hadn't paid my dues at Second City as a performer, or I hadn't gone through the classes or anything. I only went through a preliminary or whatever. And I was brought to Second City by a teacher and a performer, rest his soul, Zulovic. But I didn't. I was young, so I partied too much, hung out with everybody, drank with them. At 18 at the bars, but I didn't start performing until I moved back at Second City, IO, and then I did one-man shows at Annoyance. So I did all those theaters. And working wise was I didn't after I got fired from that job. Now I got fired because I wasn't doing everybody loved me. I was doing the job well. Not my baby's mama.
it was her boss that fired me because I was like, man, what you talking about? Everybody love you, whatever. He's like, it doesn't seem like you want to be here. I was like, how am I supposed to tell you that? Should I dance on top of the table? I was pissed. So I quit.
That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah. So I quit. And then I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, I ain't trying to get no jobs right now, whatever. So my cousin was like, growing mushrooms and stuff. And so I was selling mushrooms to improvisers and all that good stuff. And then another buddy had they had weed and stuff, so I was selling that weed to folks.
Wow. I just looked at our friends in common on Facebook. And we have an eclectic group of 30 friends in common. Like, it's so funny because it's like, it's Detroit Second City people, and then stand-up people, and then I used to be in a sketch group called Boom Chick Boom, and it's those friends.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it's those friends, and
well, I mean, don't take us all the way back to that's late '90s and stuff, and I remember that. I mean, that's where I started, like late '90s with that group. So if you around in that time, we know a lot of folks that have come up already and all that good stuff. That's why I enjoyed. I mean, even it took longer than I thought, but I enjoy the ride. The ride is amazing. Work is. Even when I get fired, I'm like, well, it's time to move on to the next.
But let's talk about that for a second. You came back to LA and you came back as a father, but you weren't married.
I wasn't married. That was in the plans, but it didn't happen. They didn't want to. She didn't want to move to Los Angeles. So, and she's from Indianapolis, so that's where my son lives and all that good stuff. So that happened. But it hurt my feelings and all that good stuff. But I had to get back to LA because I knew I had to work. It was time to work. I got a kid now.
Right. So you have to make it all happen. So what did you do?
Not just work, but make it. Time to make it.
Now you have to make it. Right? It gives you renewed purpose. I have to make it.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. I mean, so I tried to save money to get here, but I kept not saving anything. So I just bounced with a little cash, and I ran into Jamie Hoxton at a party when I moved back here, and he let me know that everybody gets with this one agency at Rain with Laura Suhu and all that good stuff. And he was like, and I had a manager at the time that wanted to manage me when I was in New York before I left. And so I went back to them. They were at she was at Luba Rockland. And so I was with Luba Rockland as soon as I landed at management. And so I had her take his referral and call Laura Suhu and get me that meeting. And then she called me back. She said, okay, don't talk to anybody else. This is the meeting you're going to, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool. So I got there. We fell in love with each other, and we've been working with each other ever since. And I booked for it a month later. A couple of weeks later, I booked for it right away.
That's great.
For that. It was. I was like, I wanted that feeling. Plus, also I was sleeping on somebody's floor at the time. Oh yeah. So I definitely wanted to. I wanted to. We were. Yeah. I'm glad that you took me.
Did you book a commercial or a show?
I booked a commercial. I am nowhere near there yet. I haven't had a theatrical agent ever. Or even though the management, she never sent me out on anything for comedy ever. She didn't know what to do.
Has she met you?
Right, exactly. It's
a legit question. I don't think I've met my manager in person in like 10 years. So,
right. So,
I mean,
I just decided.
My manager never sends me out for comedy either. And yet, the last time I took pictures, she not the last time. This last time, she was like, "Oh, you're prettier now that you're older," and the pictures before that. Which I was like, thank you. The pictures before that, she was like, I can't sell you as pretty. go back, don't wear any makeup, and put on scrubs, and you can play a nurse. And I said, okay, what about a doctor? And she said, no, women don't play doctors. And then she said, and take one set in a suit to be a realtor. And I said, okay, or a lawyer or a judge. And she said, no, you won't get those parts.
I am so glad I'm not a woman. I love y'all. Y'all got some straight on you. Because you got to deal with so much shit.
So much bullshit.
Oh, my God.
Jason Bieber was like, I can't believe she's saying this to you. From the people who are on your
side.
Right.
Like, lady, you don't get paid if I don't get paid. So, like, we should be on the same side. Like, I'm a funny person, and I'm funny looking. I'm quirky. I'm pretty, but I'm quirky. Like, just send me out for quirky. And she's like, yeah, no. She said, absolutely not. She made me take pictures as a hooker. You want to talk about escorts. She's like, I want you to take pictures as a drug addict. Like, you sleep on the streets and then take one.
Oh, my God.
That you're a
Here's the thing. I don't think I would be able to... No one's ever gave me anything like that kind of response to anything that I've asked or wanted to do. And I don't think I would be able to take it.
I couldn't. I finally gave up. I mean, because being she still represents me, bless her heart. And here's the thing. I just gave up pursuing it actively. Instead, I had a choice to make, and I went back to grad school because I'm a writer. But I've always been an actor, too. I've always been a writer. But at one point, I'm just over 40, and I had to make a choice. They said, you can't be both. You have to pick a lane. So I came out in the early 2000s right after college, and they were like, you have to pick a lane. And I was like, well, that's not fair. Like, I'm both things. And they're like, no, you're not. It's one or the other. Like, you couldn't do it. Now it's changed. Like, it's a new landscape, which is great. But when I was here, like, I would get in trouble. So I would write for some things and then be an actor for others. And when people asked me, I had to know who they were. Are you a producer? Are you what? It was very difficult. But my whole point was that being an actor isn't going on auditions and booking or not booking and keeping up with headshots and posting them and all that stuff. That's not being an actor. That's working the business. Being an actor is performing on a stage. Anytime that you're creating a character, and I get fulfilled by that when people ask me to do things as an actor, and that's enough for me. Like, I don't need to. I don't need to prove myself to anyone or this town.
Right, definitely.
Like, I write novels, I write scripts, people see them, they get bought, they get sent out for publishing. Like, I know who I am, and I know that I am an actor, and I think at some point, having a child allows you to establish those boundaries with this business. It is a business. Right. You are like, you can go into marketing and become a marketer, but you're just a cog in a machine in a corporation, right? So that's what actors have become in Hollywood. We're part of the business, and we're, it doesn't make you an actor to make it in Hollywood. That's not what being an actor is. An actor is performing for an audience and bringing community and joy, right? So, at some point you make those choices, right? And now you have a kid. And so you are going out for these commercial auditions because you want the bread and butter to be able to pay for him and to have a roof over your head so he can come stay with you.
And go to Nike camp.
That was my soapbox lesson for the episode. What is an actor by Jamie?
That was good.
People be like, she sounds bitter. She sounds real bitter. But so you're with someone who's sending you out and you book a commercial, and that feels good.
It wasn't until I got one job, and that was through the Center Space people, the owner of that. I was like, yo, I'm in town, blah, blah, can I, I don't want to wait tables or bartend or anything. Can I just, host or something like that? So now I'm hosting at Kitchen 24 over there on Cahuenga around the corner from IO.
Yeah.
And,
Kitchen 24 is closed now, you guys.
Yeah, I know.
So is IO. So is everything.
Yep. Just chopping it up there, and I was like, and then 2016, I booked a couple, and then I was like, don't want to work. Here's the thing, not that I was making enough money to have to do it, because I wasn't. But I was like, at the time, I had a roommate that I could kind of lean on because she was a man. She was the GM at the at Beachwood Cafe, and I could kind of lean on her and stuff like that. Like she knew I was going to get the rent paid at some point and all that good stuff. And so I kind of had it easy for a little bit, and so I just stopped working and just relied on the commercials and stuff like that. And that's how I ended up doing the Ubering and for one thing, once she moved, I took over the house. Now I'm by myself, and now and I'm responsible for doing things. And so I was like, and I was using her car to get around or whatever, or just if I had an audition like Santa Monica, I'd take the bus there and I walked my ass all the way back one time.
From Santa Monica to Beachwood Canyon?
No, to Koreatown. Same distance, but yeah.
Still?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Holy shit.
And that's me. That was me struggling. I didn't mind that struggle, and I was always fit because I would do shit like that, or ride my bike from Koreatown all the way there and all the way back. That's what I did if I wasn't working, and to put food in my mouth. That's what I was like. Okay, I gotta get a better job. I can't be delivering anything on a bike or picking up people on the bike. So so I started renting those cars through the apps of Lyft and Uber, and I wouldn't work to pay for the car. I just worked to get through the week and all that good stuff. So after every time I'll get to that point where I owe too much money to it, they repo. Let's get repo. Let me give them these keys real quick.
How do you even afford?
I better clock out of my shift.
Does that show up on your credit report at all? Like, can you?
Not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. Because once Wendy's happened, I changed I knew my whole life I was going to do what I was going to do. So, and I knew once it happened, I was going to change everything. I don't care about not paying these bills right now. I'm going to pay them later. And I've done. Like, my fucking credit report's going up, rising, and keep rising. I'm doing what I got to do because I said that's what I was going to fucking do. But I had about 3 repos. Well, actually 2 repos, and one, the damn thing just didn't start again. I was like, and they were like, "Oh no, that's the computer. You can't start it again. We shut it down." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I got to play it off. I got to play it off and get out the car. I'm like, "Man, can I go in the store and get something?" And then I'm like, did they see me just do that? Because I'm about to leave now. I'm not gonna leave. And then the Postmate stuff, and then my neighbor stole me his truck, so then I had a vehicle that I could have forever, and I still have it, 1994 Toyota pickup. So
yes,
I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm still good with it.
And are you?
Yeah.
Now you're booking like this Wendy's campaign is like the Allstate, knock on wood, Allstate. Stephanie Courtney did. Like, you are in every national Wendy's commercial.
Is that what Stephanie Courtney is? Flo?
It's Flo.
She's Flo. Yeah.
That's exactly what my dad. The summer, like I did Goldberg's that summer. The first summer after the pandemic year. I was like, I knew I was trying to get myself back in shape. You know what I'm saying? And talking to my mom and dad, and talking to my dad, and I was like, he's like, man, I was like, I'm about to book all these. I'm about to get it. He's like, you just need that Flow money. You need to get one of those Flow jobs. I was like, yeah.
That's right.
I know.
Is that Willie Earl Sr.?
That's Willie Earl Sr.
I love that.
I remember seeing the first Wendy's ad and just going, "Oh, hey, good job, Willie." And then I saw another one.
The second one, and then he was like, "Why the hell don't I get any commercials?"
Well, yeah,
but you did. You did. You cracked it. I mean, there's this weirdo in it that's always your sidekick now too, and I'm like, he makes you look good. That guy makes.
That's what they did with Progressive.
They did.
That's what they. First, it was just Flo, and then they added the skinny sidekick, and now they're a duo, and they've been doing it for a decade or longer.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I mean, it was definitely a blessing. Like, I didn't know. I mean, we shot a few, So I knew it was going to be at least 3 or 4 that day for that first. I was like, okay, that's going to be a run. That's going to be a nice run for me.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't it was that December. Like we shot that in like late July of that year of 2021. And I remember December getting a call like they want to bring you checking your dates for January. I was like, what? So this is happening again. And then kept going. And then and then it was May or March or something like that, or April, where they asked me if I could do the Spanish ones as well. So I also do. I'm the only one that does the Spanish ones with the different actress and stuff. So I do the general and the Spanish, and it's just I work next week. My son's gonna come to set with me and all that good stuff.
I'm so happy for you. I am so happy for you.
It's one of those like now I can. This is the kind of bartending, the bartending gig. Like you use bartending to make that money, that money, so you can be comfortable to go after it. This is what this is for me right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can go after what I really want to do. As a performer and all that good stuff, and as a writer, because I'm right now I'm finishing up. I'm using this time to finish up a pilot that I'm working on with a co-writer. Meeting with a manager tomorrow on here, just like we're doing right now. She started following me, and I finally 3 months later I decided to give her a holler. She was like, "Yeah, I just didn't want to step on any toes," so I got that. That's tomorrow, and she represents some nice people, so I'm like, okay.
Beautiful.
All you gotta do is keep moving forward. Doing what you're doing. I'm about to go. My son's here. I got him for the next 3 weeks until I drop him off on the 29th. Going back with my family. We take on the 19th or the 18th red eye back to the family. Our second summer. Doing a camp vacation, bringing all his cousins and my family together. 15 people in a cabin in northern Michigan and all that good stuff. So yeah, man, it's
nice.
This is what it's about. You know what I'm saying? You want to get to that point where, okay, you can move forward with everything. You know what I'm saying? If you're smart about it and all that good stuff. So also at the same time, trying to make sure that I don't break because I also still have my fucking problems that or trauma that I've carried with me for a long time that has always been an anchor to me, which sometimes I fall a lot. You know what I'm saying? But lately I've been just bouncing right back up and trying to like, okay, no, you in a different place now. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make this happen. You know what I'm saying?
I love that you talk about that because I think that's helpful. I think artists carry trauma with them. I think everybody does, but artists really, you know, some of the things that inform us as being artists is our trauma.
Yeah.
And separating us from that is difficult because, one, it motivates us. Two, it sort of in this odd way inspires a lot of what we do. But so I'm glad you bring that up, and I'm glad that you're bouncing back. And you said you were in therapy, so I think that's great. Everybody who can afford it, ask for a sliding scale if you can't afford it, or go to group therapy. That's so great.
I keep hearing about that.
What, the sliding scale?
Group
or
therapy?
No, the group therapy. The group therapy. I was like,
group therapy. It's hard because, just like I teach writing workshops for women, and because women oftentimes feel that they can't write or talk about their own stories, and when they do, they give such an abridged version. The brevity is beyond. It's like, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. And why don't you think you're allowed to be heard or allowed to tell this story? And a lot of times it's because they feel that embarrassed that their story isn't as weighty as somebody else's, and so therefore they feel like they shouldn't feel like they have trauma, which is so stupid. Right. But I think like group therapy people feel the same way, like, oh, well, my mom was a part-time alcoholic, not like a full-time alcoholic. Like we make these excuses up in our heads not to go to Al-Anon or something, and we're like, no, you should probably go. Or like, I was only anorexic for like my 20s and part of my 30s. My control issues are handled in other ways now. Right. Yeah, maybe you should go to Eaters Anonymous. Like, this sounds like a problem that other people could help you with. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
I got full on signs on my walls. As soon as I sit down in the bathroom, the first thing I see is discipline, and then I see another sign that says consistency. I gotta have these. Put
Have
it
you
in my
tried
head.
Metamucil?
at least just the label is a
Not yet,
sign.
not yet, not yet, not yet. I don't like it.
This was so great,
For sure.
and I like.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so glad that you had the time to like stay longer with us because I think you're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy for you,
You
and
guys
all
are
your
too. I'm glad.
success.
Thank you,
Thank
dude.
you, thank you,
Thank you. I hope this is the
Oh, it's
first
great.
of 100 podcasts you do.
Right? Oh, this is amazing. I love you. I love
They
it.
don't.
This
They
is
don't
great.
all
It's
pay as
amazing,
well as
guys.
us, but
No, my mother asked about that. You okay? Say no, Mom. He's a friend. You do things for friends and business. You know what I'm saying?
Tell her we do.
he's an actor. He's got no money.
We do a lot of free promo work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell her that. Tell her that.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly. I was like, Mom, this is good for me. You know what I'm saying? It's good for me.
No, it's a good question to ask.
Look.
Like, I mean, do you remember like that really famous actor? I don't think he's dead yet, but I can't remember his name right now. But he said a couple of years ago, before COVID, "Oh, actors are so spoiled these days. If something's for free, they won't do it. But you have to say yes to every opportunity." And I'm like, no, it's because they had to go to their shift at the fucking Starbucks. And they couldn't take the time off because they got to pay their fucking rent. That isn't 25 cents like when you were our age, motherfucker.
Right?
With your studio
That was the
deal
other
since you
thing.
were 17. Oh,
Right? If I got a job during the day, I can't make it to these auditions. I'm a struggle. I always heard about that struggling actor. I was like, I'm gonna do the real struggling actor.
guys.
Oh.
When I hear about like when Robert De Niro and Pacino were roommates, I don't get jealous of that. I get jealous of that they were paying $11 a month for rent.
Right?
yes.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, assholes.
Assholes. Yeah.
They don't know. They don't know our burden.
Oh my God.
The odd 2000s was a different landscape. This was no longer the 80s or 90s. Like there were no deals in LA to be had. That's another podcast. Oh, maybe we should do that one sometime.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We're gonna do the true crime one
This
first.
is it done.
Yeah, Willie, you were the best.
You guys are amazing. I love you.
You too, buddy. Thank you so much.
She showed on Monday, made love on Tuesday. By Wednesday she was down. We fought on Thursday, made up on Friday. But now I'm losing ground. You call me lazy, you think I'm crazy. So why'd you come around? She want my money, but I got no money. This ain't no savings and loan. You call me lazy, you think I'm crazy, so why'd you come around?